Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Well, hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Very good. Very nice. Oh, a little teaser on the end. I like it. A little tag note on the end. That is Jen. I am Dave. This is the 233rd episode of the Main Street Electrical Podcast. And we've been gone for 2 weeks. We've been out and about. Yeah. You've been in the Caribbean. We've been at Disney World. Crazy things have happened. We were going to do like a kind of a classic encore episode from a couple of years ago last week. It didn't happen. And we'll get to more next week as we kind of talk about Disney Christmas. But I had a hiccup at the beginning of my trip, which set everything back for a couple of days. And it was just crazy, right? It was all crazy.
Right.
But here we are. So,
yes.
Jen, how did you Disney this week? And you can't say I just got back from Disney World.
No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say I just got back from the Disney Treasure.
Look at you with all your swag. I love it. You must
that
have
one
a
counts.
Mountain, you must have a mountain of swag right now. Just like cups and blankets and tote bags and just things that,
Tote bags, blankets. I got a magic band. Ooh, wait, look at my magic band plus.
I saw the magic band. That is so cool. I love the magic band. Oh, that's so great. I'm waiting for you to lose that so that way I can pick if I can find it and keep it because that's awesome.
I'm not
Does it have your
name?
Does it have your name on the back?
It does not have my name on the back, but it's like really cool.
Still, I love it. I think that's fantastic. Magic Band's awesome. So we're going to talk about the Disney Treasure, as you might have seen the title episode of the episode, the one with the Disney Treasure. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. I just got back from Disney World, obviously, and I can say that because I got back 4 days ago, like late Friday night.
Yes,
on a very. It's hard to say a 10-day trip is a whirlwind trip, but it kind of was a whirlwind trip. And it's one of those longer trips that when you're on day 3 or 4, you're like, man, we have a whole week to go. And then you're on day 6 or 7, you're like, oh, we still got 3 days to go. And then the trip is over and you're like, what just happened to that trip? I mean, just it's crazy. Like I said, we had a slight hiccup at the beginning of the trip and had some crazy things happen, which we decided to add a few extra days to our trip. We were supposed to get back last Tuesday and we ended up getting back this past Friday night. We'll say this, though, Disney with hiccups of all kinds, and I probably will go more detailed on it later, but Disney with hiccups of all kinds are fantastic. Disney was amazing working with us. They were amazing in the way they handled everything, and I know that's kind of a teaser, and people are like, what are you talking about? Again, I'll get to it later at some point, but they were fantastic, and great time with the team, great time with the family. So all of that, again, we'll talk about all that next week. We'll do a Disney Christmas episode and talk about Disney and Christmas, and it might be too late to go for Christmas this year. Well, no, it's not. If you wanted to go, we could get you.
We get you there.
Get you there. You're running a little tight scheduled here, but it'll be a good episode too for future reference and for future I want to plan for next year.
For next year. Good.
Exactly. Not a whole lot of news going on today, but I do want to run through.
The closer we get to the holidays.
Yes, they don't want to announce the news unless I don't know if there's anything bad they're going to throw out there like at the last minute and say, hey, we'll just slip this under the radar. I don't know, but I do want to run through kind of the list of closures of 2025, kind of an updated thing of what's happening in the next few weeks or whatever. So some of the closures that are happening coming up next year, Big Thunder Railroad is going to be closing January 6th. Likely for about a year or so. They haven't said exactly how long, but it's being said they're going to close it for pretty much the entire year. So opening back up in 2026 at some point in time. Also just announced January the 6th. For several months, we're going to get the Gran Fiesta Tour will be closing. Big major refurb. They haven't done... I haven't done a refurb on that in a while, so they're really going to just...
It has been a while.
Close it down.
On that one.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, they just have to do it eventually. Test Track will be closed through spring 2025, reopening summer 2025. Typhoon Lagoon is, of course, closed now. Blizzard Beach is open, and we expect Typhoon Lagoon to reopen sometime in March or ish. Remains to be seen
the weather.
Remains to be seen whether Blizzard Beach will also open. If they'll both be open, right? The last couple of years, only one's been open at a time.
Yeah.
January the 13th, Triceratops Spin and Chester and Hester's Carnival Games will close permanently. This, of course, is the Animal Kingdom refurbers. They're going to start closing down the Dino Land bit by bit, little by little, as Tropical Americas comes in. The Boneyard and the Dinosaur Ride we're going to close later on in 2025, but no dates have been announced. Jen, I know you're excited about Tough to Be a Bug closing at the end of 2025, so we know that. Yeah, I know. Happy, joy, joy. Happy, joy, joy. Tom Sawyer Island and Rivers of America will also be closed sometime in 2025. Sad. Voyage of the Little Mermaid is closed now. Revamp Show will come back in sometime later in 2025, which we're excited about that. Traditionally, the Skyliner closes at the end of January for about a 2-week period. They close a segment here, then the next week they close a segment there. We haven't had any announcements on that yet. And historically, Jen, I'll ask you this close to time, do you think they would announce it for January, or do you think at this, not confirming anything, saying what they do?
No, we're not.
Won't do, but do you think at this point it would be hard to close in January?
I think at this point it would be difficult to close in January. I'm not going to say impossible. I just haven't seen anything about it. Right. So it makes me wonder, do they feel they don't need to close it? Do they feel like maybe they're going to push it to a different time of year? But I don't know when that would be. Like maybe they're going to do February, but no, they typically, it's been the end of January. I mean, almost every single year since it's opened.
Yeah, and that's crazy too, because they can't really push it past February, because once you get into the summer months, you get into the even busier
spring break
months.
And even busier.
I mean, the Skyliner is always hopping. There were several times on this past trip I was waiting for several minutes to get onto the Skyliner. The lines were in the switchbacks and stuff.
Especially like in the morning, or like at park close, obviously.
Right. And so, and just to give a quick update on what is opening, just to run through this real quick, Spaceship Earth Lounge will open in late spring 2025, which will be awesome. As we mentioned, The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure, will debut in summer 2025. All new sets, a vibrant cast of puppets, live performers, and visuals. Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away is the official name of the all-new nighttime parade coming to Magic Kingdom in summer 2025.
It looks so
Villains. That looks so great. I'm so excited. I'm just excited to have a nighttime parade. You could have a bunch of cast members with flashlights flashing around. I'd be like, nighttime parade.
I mean, I might not be quite as excited about that.
Well, maybe after a week or two, I might want something more, but still. Villains Unfairly Ever After. It's the new stage show coming into Hollywood Studios, beside where Rock and Roller Coaster is now, and the old Lightning McQueen building there. Test Track going to open late summer 2025, refurbished with an homage to the original World of Motion. The Pirates Lounge in Magic Kingdom is going to open in late 2025. And of course, Zootopia, as we mentioned, Tough to Be a Bugs is going away. Zootopia Better Zoogether is a new show taking over the Tree of Life Theater in winter 2025. And Dinosaur, they've announced, will be open pretty much all of 2025. They're looking to replace it early 2026. And I know how popular this ride is. And so I think
it is still a great attraction. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's a fun attraction. I don't mind it. Yeah. It's, I like Indiana better because it doesn't break down as much.
Right. That's true. Well, we'll see what happens with this one, because it is going to be Indiana Jones, but a different show, probably the same ride track, but a different show, which will be nice. So that, of course, is going to lead us up to the Epcot festivals. And we now have dates on the Epcot festivals, which we knew Festival of the Arts was opening on January the 17th through February 25th. I'm really excited about the arts. I'm going to try to get down there at least for a day or two in January, because I want the Festival Slam. I want all 4 in 1 year. I haven't done that in forever, so I'm crossing my fingers. But they announced the Flower and Garden Festival coming back on March the 5th through June the 2nd, which is about what happened last year, March, April, May.
It's normally sometimes it's March 2nd. I think it depends on the 5th. They normally open it on like a Wednesday, so whatever that Wednesday is.
Right. Well, during COVID, it was like they were opening up like March through late July.
Oh, I mean, it was like forever.
It was like, hey, come to the festival for the whole amount of time or whatever. But so that's what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Jen, I have to ask you though, the Disney treasure. Let's talk about the treasure. And we'll take this conversation however you want to take it. If you want to go section by section, or if you want to talk about each cabin individually, one by one, you can do that, or however you want to do it. So,
Wow. I mean, it was, first of all, it was incredible. I was, first of all, honored to have an invitation to be on the Disney Treasure. So a huge shout out to Disney Destination Sales. Thank you guys so much for having me. It was fantastic. And I was expecting to love it. I really thought the Wish was beautiful. I will say, like, as much as the decorations, I was like, okay, I'm not sure about these color palettes, like how I'm going to feel about it.
Well, how is it themed? I mean, before we get into it, like the theming, it's like Aladdin, and that's the statue.
Like it's adventure. So not to be confused with the Disney Adventure, but the theme of the treasure is adventure. So like an adventure in all of its forms, right? Like even as much as like Peter Pan, they're all going on an adventure, right? An adventure to Neverland. So you're going to see a lot of the themes, obviously, like, Captain Hook is on the front of the ship. You got Aladdin and Jasmine, a lot of stuff there. Jungle Book. You've got Moana, Encanto, Luna, Coco. All people who are going on adventures in some way or another. Right. I mean, even like Zootopia, right? Like you've got Judy Hopps, right? Her adventure into
the police force.
Blanking. The police force. And what's the metropolis of?
I can't think of the name of the.
I can't think of the name, but you know what I'm talking about. Whatever
it's an animal kingdom of sorts. So yes.
Yes, the big city. Know, so all of that kind of goes in. The colors and the theme was so rich and lush and beautiful. I thought the Grand Hall, and you were on the Wish, it was beautiful, right? The Grand Hall, absolutely gorgeous. All the white marble, all the, so pretty, so classy. This was like lush and rich. Those are the two words that just keep coming to mind. You walk in and Aladdin and Jasmine were there greeting everybody. And sometimes it'd be Tiana and Naveen, right? Sometimes it would be like, you always have the different characters up on that little balcony area, the stage. I was super impressed walking in. And then it just went from there. I took in, like, I'm going to start from like when I walked on the ship. I just started getting orientated to where is everything, like reminding myself. So on the Wish, if you've been on the Wish, there's the Nightingale Lounge on the left. Well, here, this is the Scat Cat Lounge.
It's the same layout, just different theming in the areas.
Different theming in the areas, right.
Yep.
But I will say this, as much as I thought the Wish had beautiful theming, they took the theming and they went next level on it.
I love it.
Scat Cat Lounge, so cute. Little paw print on the piano.
Because it's themed after Aristocats.
It's Aristocats, yes. So it's my Scat Cat Lounge. And what I love that they did is they actually added a bar on the outside too. So you didn't just have to be in it. It actually expanded where you could get stuff. Okay. So you could get it at an outdoor section that wasn't right in the lounge, or you could go into the lounge. Across from that, where the Tiana's Bayou Lounge was, it's the Skipper Lounge. It's the Skipper Society. So many nods to the Jungle Cruise. It was, I mean, perfection.
The bartender making the jokes? That's the thing. Were they making the jokes?
That's the one thing that was the one feedback that a couple of us were like, I wish they were cracking corny jokes while they were serving. Because that would have just kind of been next level. But I don't know how well the punny dad jokes go in other countries. Like, I don't know if like the humor, like,
well, plus if you're on a 4-hour shift serving drinks, you might run out of jokes.
You might run out of jokes at some point. I mean, cruise, you can hear like announcements coming over sometimes. Like they would have kind of like some of that going on, but it's not like the servers at Skipper Canteen that are kind of giving the punny jokes. Actually, our friends Liz and Bill Winter were on the ship, and they both were Jungle Cruise Scrippers. We had them on like a while ago, and so they spent a lot of time there. I'd walk by, I'm like, you're back at home again.
That's awesome. Love
so
it.
that was great. The one that we all know that I was so excited for was the Haunted Mansion Lounge. Oh,
I've heard rave reviews about this. I've heard so many great things about this.
David, I can't. I can't. And I didn't. So I'm going with my order on the ship, right? I could not go in right away. It was closed. So I just took some pictures of the outside, and I was like, I already knew this was going to be incredible. So at that point, staterooms still weren't ready because I got on. Of course, I used the Disney transportation, which means you don't have to worry about a port arrival time. Got right on the ship. But, and I just had my day bag with me. Also wanted to explore decks 4 and 5. So went up, saw the shops, which they don't open until you're outside of port, but you're like, oh my gosh, there's like some great merch. I can't wait to go shopping here. Took a tour of deck 5 and saw Sarabi, which is the like where they do the shows, like the game shows in the evening. And they're great storytellers on board, Coriander and Sage, and they will do stuff in the main lobby. They'll do stuff in Sarabi and they're funny. It's like there are two storytellers and they play the different roles. So the one was playing Marion from Indiana Jones, and the other guy was playing, honestly, I can't remember which is which. I think Coriander was the guy and Sage was the girl. So Coriander was playing Indiana Jones. And then Marion, like they went through, the one we saw went through all 5 Indiana Jones films, and you pick what they do next. So it's like, should Indy steal the idol or should he like grab the whip? You know,
It's like a choose your own adventure.
choose your own adventure. And then
Right.
if it's the wrong answer, like Indy would like end up impaled on something like,
Mhm.
well, let's dial that back. And then the way they did it was so cute. It was funny. All of the singers were amazing that I heard in Sarabi. So again, a great option. Movie theater still on board. I didn't go
Mhm.
take the time to go
Right.
see a movie, but just so you know, first run films still a thing. That's definitely there. At that point, I went up and I saw Periscope Pub, which is the answer on like the wish and the dream to it's the Irish pub that people like they do game shows in. I mean, on point theming. On point. Like it looked like you look up above and you see like manta rays and sharks swimming above your head and in the window. You've got of course like behind the bar the beer taps were all like tentacles like octopus and squid and like different like
themed after 20,000 Leagues.
20,000 Leagues
Yes,
Under the Sea, right?
Leagues. Yeah.
They also served great food bites. So this is not just a spot like you don't just go here for drinks. And a lot of the I don't want to say a lot of the lounges, but some of the lounges do have like little small bites. The Periscope Pub, though, it had like tater tots and the big pretzel, and like people were going there for bites as well.
Right.
And it was themed so beautifully. It was hopping all day long.
Oh,
like,
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Like, and it also had TVs. So if you're like looking to watch a sports game, some of the guys who were looking for like different things were like hanging out there to check out the something with college football, Heisman.
Well, the college football playoff is coming up, and I think when you went, it was last weekend you guys went. Oh, last week you guys went. Yeah. I know that they were making the announcements on the college football the playoff bracket and whatever. So I don't know exactly how I know it lines up, but there's a lot going on right now.
Yeah,
so,
my friend Mike from Be Our Guest podcast was up there to watch some watch. I think that's who it was who I was talking to who went there. Anyway, so I got to see Marcy there in Periscope Pub. She was working and said, "Hey," kind of gave me the runaround, or not the runaround, the rundown of that bar, not the runaround. Good grief!
You've had a lot going on.
I got a lot going on. I've been traveling since whatever. Okay, then went to the stateroom. Oh my gosh, mine was themed to Nemo. So cute. Of course, the traditional Disney split bathroom, which is so great for getting ready in the evening.
It definitely is. Yes.
Just amazing. And we had a veranda. It was a nice large veranda. We were on one of the bump outs. So the treasure has 2 bump outs. And so in that case, you get like a little bit of an extended, like a deeper balcony, which was nice. Loved, the stateroom was beautiful. I think I posted walkthroughs, and I should also shout out on the Upon a Star travel page. We did create an Instagram highlight of a lot of the things that you can see on the treasure. So amazing. Then got ready, and the first night we were like, it doesn't matter. We have 8:15 dining. They told us that Haunted Mansion was opening at 7. We got in line at 6. We started the line. We were like, we are getting in.
Yes.
We like, if this is the only time we get in this entire trip, we are going to see this because it's such a classic attraction for us. And one thing that I had found out, there is a fish tank in the middle. Okay. And this fish tank was actually designed by Raleigh Crump.
Interesting. Disney Imagineer, Disney legend, Raleigh Crump.
But had never been used. So this is
love it. I love it. They went and found that and brought that in.
Yes. So in any case, super duper cool. The theming again on point, and because we were the first ones in, I got a great walk-in video. I mean, after right behind me there were like a zillion other people, so right. that like was a little more difficult. But I will say, you walk in and you see stretch portraits on the left, not stretch portrait. Like the portrait hallway, like where the girl turns into the tiger. You get the photo.
Yeah, the 3D,
Medusa,
the 3D posters, the pictures.
The pictures. Yeah. Okay. That was on the left. So you have the Mariner, you had like a Medusa type one, you had several pictures. You had a fireplace with a clock. You had the Donald Duck chair in one corner.
Of course.
You had a bunch of other like little artifacts. And then behind the bar area, it looks like a mirror. And I'm telling all of this for a reason, okay? Because this entire thing is a show. It is 45 minutes. They do want you to adhere to 45 minutes. They very strongly suggest that you go at 45 minutes. And
Like when
they're
you go, don't leave halfway through and don't try to come
no.
in halfway through. Like it's
Yeah, I
got
mean,
it.
and if you
Okay.
do come in halfway through, just try to stay for,
Right.
like then because it's going to restart. If you
Right.
walk in halfway through, it's not like you're going to be lost. It's just that you won't have seen everything.
Right.
So you come in and just kind of like the spooky ambiance, a little bit of thunder rolling here and there. But at some points, the lighting changes and the clock on the fireplace will go. If
Hmm.
you're sitting, and we kind of got some intel and sat in front of the fish tank facing the fish tank. That fish tank, if you look at it, there are skeleton fish that like show up. So there's like ghost fish in the tank that like sing the grim gritting ghosts. And like sometimes the grim gritting ghost will happen and like one of the portraits will sing, but they
Hmm.
all do like, or their eyes will move. And then sometimes they change what they look like. Like where you see like, how when you first enter the haunted mansion, there's it's not the ghost host, but it's the portrait and that
Hmm.
ages slowly.
Yes.
Well,
Yep.
the portraits, when
Yep.
you walk in, it's the aged portraits, but then they'll go back and then and it'll like flash back and forth between the two.
This sounds super cool.
It's so cool.
I mean,
It's so cool. And then there's this one box, which the second we did make it in a second time, and we saw there's this other box that like moves and stuff comes
hmm.
out of it. And then, but the other part that like blew my mind, we had been sitting there for probably 20 minutes, and then Brady's like, I look over behind the bar, that mirror. Yeah, scenes from the Haunted Mansion pop up. Like Leota's head will be floating,
Oh,
or the
that's so great.
hitchhiking goats like show up, or like the like the organ. There's like the
Hmm.
ghostly heads that
Right.
pop. Yeah, those will be going while some
There's a
things.
lot to see in this lounge.
There's a ton to see, and you can like go in multiple times and see something different every single time, depending on where you sit.
Hmm.
And of course, they have an iPad that has your menu. And guys, listen, you can get cocktails or mocktails. They also have 4 sodas they're like glitter and they're themed. Like what one is, oh shoot, I have the thing downstairs. I should have brought it up. It's like spooky something. It's a lemonade
Right.
like drink. Okay. So don't feel like, oh, well, I'm not, I don't want to drink a lot. I can't. No, you can go in and get one of these like haunted mansion themed sodas, right? You can go in and get whatever. And there is a secret menu. So, for those in Aponostar who
Of
are fans of
course.
secret menus,
Of
if you
course.
flip the iPad from portrait or landscape to portrait and you answer the questions in the right order, it's like one of those riddles like goblins and ghoulies. That's not what it is.
Right.
Like wherever
Right.
you dwell, like whatever, it opens up a special
I love that.
menu.
I would be trying to
So
figure that out the entire time. I'd spend my entire time trying to open that menu.
yeah, and once you figure out, it's like, oh,
Right.
that was easy, but like you had
Right.
to know it was there.
Hmm.
So it was bumping, and I'm telling you what, like, yeah, and we did some posts, so you can go check that out on the
Of course.
Aponostar
Love it.
social
That's
media. It's
great.
really cool. It's really cool. So that's fantastic. All right, then evening shows. So there is the one show that's very similar to The Wish, and for some reason the name is just escaping me right now, but it's they always have one that's like themed with Disney characters and stuff.
Right. Hmm.
Great show. Similar to The Wish. Moana. Oh my
Well, all the
gosh.
ships have a show themed, either like a Broadway
Yes,
style show themed to one of the stories of like
they
the
do.
Aladdin or Hercules
Hmm.
or whatever. I mean, it's so Moana's
Yes,
a good natural fit for this one. So yeah.
absolutely. Moana was a great fit. So this would be like the
Mhm.
feature show. Now they also had Beauty
Mhm.
and the Beast, which of
Okay.
course they always do a phenomenal job on. I've seen that on the Dream. It's
Right.
always amazing. But let me tell you what, Moana blew my mind. The
Mm.
voices were incredible. And like then I'm wondering like how are they going to do this? How are they going to do this? I don't really want to spoil it for people, but the way they brought the ocean to life, the way they brought Ka to life, because I
Hmm.
literally had no idea, like
Right.
how would they even do this? Like this doesn't even make sense. And I saw it and I went, yeah, okay, that worked. Like that was I really don't want to spoil it. And of course, video might exist online. I wasn't going
Right.
to spoil anything, but it was just,
YouTube. I'm sure I'll go to YouTube after this is over. So.
yeah. But I mean, just watching the Ka to Fiti
Mhm.
transformation was fantastic. And the grandmother, I loved what they did is they utilized the grandmother as the storyteller. So
Mhm.
like going back and telling the story of Moana so that it really made sense for a stage version because you do wonder like how is this all going to translate, but they did it. I do think it needs to go to Broadway. it needs to go to Broadway like as a full stage show.
I would be surprised if it didn't in a couple of
Yeah,
years because Moana 2 is such a huge movie right now.
absolutely.
And so I could even see announcing a Moana 3 for a couple of years from now and
Yeah.
doing a Broadway style show. I could see that happening.
Yes.
Um,
I absolutely could. I agree with you. It would just really be um it would be good for everybody, I think, and it would be a huge hit,
mhm.
kind of like a la Beauty and the Beast and Lion King was back in
Right,
the day. And I know
right.
Frozen did well. I know Aladdin did well, but like I feel like this one is just
Right.
really,
Well,
really
and there's a
amazing.
lot of effects to it because you have water. This
Yes.
is something that's hard to do on stage, which is impressive that it's
Yes.
done so successfully on stage, even on a ship, because that's a even more limited amount. You do it in Broadway, it's one place, and you can go out and get whatever you need to. On a ship, it's a constantly moving
Yes.
ship, and it's so yeah, that's impressive. They were able to do that on a stage, on a
Hmm.
ship, and
And
so
every
with
time they
water.
get to a new scene, because like I've seen Moana several times, so
Right.
I know what comes next, and I'm like, huh, huh. All right, I see what you did there. That was good. That was good. So, and being a theater kid, like I'm like thinking through like the behind this, like, oh my gosh, like how did they learn how to do this? So it was just really, really impressive. Definitely a highlight for us. We did do all the dining experiences. Okay, I do lie. I ate at Palo instead of going to Marvel.
That's okay. I've heard the Marvel was
I'm
great
sorry.
though. I've heard some
Yes,
incredible things
no,
of the Marvel.
absolutely enjoyed it. But I really wanted to experience Palo and I love Palo, so I went and it just,
Mhm.
beautiful as always.
Right. Right.
But I will tell you, Coco exceeded my expectations.
I've heard that
Um,
too. That Coco is amazing.
it really was like I had no idea what to expect. And yes, they bring out Miguel.
Hmm.
They also bring out Hector. And
Awesome.
and obviously not grandmother Coco.
Is it Ernesto, the bad
Hector's
guy?
no, 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 the
Dante, the
wife,
dog?
well, grandmother Coco's
Oh,
mom.
I can't think of the
Do
wife.
you know
But
you know what
yeah.
I'm talking about?
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I can't
Hector's
think of her name.
wife.
Hmm.
Yes. Okay, but yeah, anyway.
Right.
And I was like they did, and there was the mariachis, and they
Hmm.
were wonderful musicians. They did a great job. They even did the Three Caballeros song, but like the real version, like not the Three Caballeros
Right,
version. I'm
right,
like,
right.
hey, that's the song that is in the Gran Fiesta tour.
Now, is it
Uh,
like Frozen on the Wish where you have the stage in the middle? And
yes.
so, okay, that makes sense. It's kind of that little stage
Yeah.
area.
Yeah,
So,
so I mean, depending on where you're sitting, like you might not have the clearest view, but you could hear everything and you could see what was going on. So, I
mhm.
mean, even no matter we were sitting like I don't have the best video just because of where my seat was, but I did get them like walking by because I happened to be right by where they would go in and out. So came on, I want to say like 4 or 5 times throughout the evening. So like you get the orders, then like there's a little bit of a show, then there's a break, and then there's a show, and then there's
Right.
a break. And they're all just like little vignettes, and you're going to hear a lot of the music from the movie. It was, and they really did a beautiful job with the ambiance because it looks like you're in a Mexican village with like the lights over the top and lots of nods to the movie. So I thought it was just really well done. They have an ofrenda out in
Hmm.
front, as there might, and so they really kind of leaned into the cultural like aspect of that. And they were really careful to
Right.
try to really preserve it and respect it. So I appreciated that. 1923, as always, is I think it's so cute having the Walt side, the Roy side, seeing the different, um, artifacts, whatever,
Hmm.
like
Right.
memorabilia of the different, of whether it's Sleeping Beauty or Winnie the Pooh. I was looking at Winnie the Pooh, so like that was a cool thing. Eight, there are servers as always, on a Disney Cruise Line ship are amazing. There was Pirate Night, so you never want to miss that, and the fireworks, so much fun. But there was a lot to see and do. I am glad this is a 7 night ship. I was on it for 3 nights, and there was so much more I
You're gonna have to go back
could
and
have
do
done.
more. I mean, you guys will have to take
Yes.
a longer cruise and do a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
will it be sailing out of Port Canaveral or Lauderdale or
Right
Miami?
now, it's out of Port Canaveral,
Okay.
doing 7 night. It sort of replaced the fantasies. The fantasy was Eastern Western Caribbean,
Right. Right.
7 night sailings, and that's what the Treasure is doing now. With the fantasy now doing some shorter
Hmm.
sailings. I believe the fantasy is still going out of Port Canaveral, some, but also out of Lauderdale.
Okay.
Um, The Wish is still doing Port Canaveral 3 and 4 night sailings. So, and
I
that,
do wonder when the Wish will be pushed to another port or another area because that they start
yeah,
rotating the ships after a
they
while.
do.
Like the Wonder was in Australia for the longest time,
It was.
and so I'm wondering when the Wish will eventually make its way out to other ports or even to
Hmm.
the
And right
Western
now,
United
with
States.
the Wonder, the Magic, they're moving those around a lot. The Dream too, and now the Fantasy is going to go to Europe
Hmm.
next year instead of the Dream. So it's like they're moving different ones. So like the Wonder, I feel like is the one that always is doing Alaska because
Right,
Alaska does need a smaller ship, which
right.
means the Magic or the Wonder is the one that makes the most sense. Wonder had dry dock recently, so
Hmm.
but they are expanding their fleet of ships. So now we've
Yes.
got.
Well,
I
the
mean,
Adventure,
yes,
of course, is in Asia,
is
and
it?
then we
It's
have
in
another
Asia.
ship coming. Have they gotten the name
Destiny.
for it yet? Destiny. That's
Destiny.
right. That's right.
Disney Destiny next year.
That's right.
I believe I believe November.
Hmm.
I'm trying to remember. But yeah, but they're going to be going from, whatever they're the 7 ships, like they're going to like doubling their fleet like in the
Yeah,
next
because
7
I
years.
think 13 by 2030, I believe, is their
13 by
goal.
2030.
Yeah, it's
So
crazy. So
yeah, it is.
I've been on two of them. I will go on the fantasy in March.
Mhm.
So that'll be three. I'll be on three of them. So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess we have to take an agency trip to the treasure now, to make that happen.
So
You can do it.
amazing. Yeah. So yeah, but with the 7 nights, I'm glad because that was my one thing with the Wish. I'm like, 4 nights
Hmm.
isn't enough on this ship to like really see everything.
Right.
And definitely on the treasure, you will have a full 7 nights to experience her, and she's beautiful.
Right.
She's real
Now, of
pretty.
course, for the audience, this is an overview of the treasure.
Right.
I mean, we could talk
Overview.
probably a day and a half about the treasure because, you
Absolutely.
you probably saw, but you didn't really
Right.
get involved much with the kids areas. And of course, there's more food, all the snacks, all the
Oh yeah.
snack places and everything you can do. The aqueduct, the aqua mouse, is that on
The
the ship?
Aqua Mouse, yes, the
Aqua
Aqua
mouse,
Mouse
okay,
is on
on
the
the ship.
ship,
I'm assuming you
and
didn't ride it because it's
it was actually
probably here
cold.
chilly. I was gonna say it's chilly.
Chilly. It was chilly. Like there was no way. And
Did
I
you
don't
guys
get my
stop
hair
at
wet
Castaway
anyway.
Key and Lookout, or just Castaway?
Just Castaway,
Hmm.
and we rented bikes.
Hmm.
So we did the bike ride,
Right.
which was great, and like climbed the tower.
Did you get your medal?
Not for the bike ride. You get that
You can
for
get a
the
medal.
for the 5 key.
You can get a medal for the bike ride. I
Can
did. And
you?
whether you're
I
supposed to or
didn't
not, I
know.
did. I walked up and I was like, I did 5K on the bike, and they were like, "Here you go." And I think they were just,
Oh, I didn't even think about it on
yeah.
the bike. Oh,
So yeah, I
I
have
would have.
two medals over here. Well, next time you go, you can be like, "Last
Next
time
time
I
I'll
was
do.
here, I need a medal
Oh, I'll
from
just
last
do the
time."
bike ride again. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, it's not
Yeah,
hard.
because we like that. No, so and it rained a little bit that day, but the weather
Hmm.
was nice. It was like in the high 70s.
Right.
So that was good. The other thing I do have to say, and this is a secret, on the front of the ship, there is like, I think it's the Chip and Dale pool.
Hmm.
No one's ever up there.
Is it an adult pool or family pool or just
Family pool.
open? Okay,
But
interesting.
it's like everybody's at the one where like there's funnel vision, and then
Right.
the adult
Right.
pools in the back, Cove Cafes in the back. But yeah, plenty of spots for like snackies. And again, much like the Wish, they have the Marceline Market and they have the Mickey's Food Festival
Yes.
thingy.
Yep. Which is
Yeah.
the counter service. You walk up pretty much any time and get the food within the operating
Yes,
hours and stuff. You grab your food.
correct.
Did you get to see? We'll end on this. Did you get to see the big suites? The Epcot, is it Epcot
I
suite?
did. I
Okay.
did. I saw all the suites.
Mhm.
The Tomorrowland Tower suite,
That's
which
it.
is themed
Yep.
after Epcot,
Hmm.
and Figgy is prominently featured in so many rooms, and it made my heart happy. And then they have this beautiful chandelier that's like
Hmm.
iridescent. So when the light hits it, it has all these colors swirling. I mean, fantastic. There is also is it called the Raja Suite? Raja was you know,
It's the tiger from Aladdin. That's
the
Jasmine's
tiger from Aladdin.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yep.
that was the theme. Beautiful 1 bedroom suite there. There was also a
They had a
uh,
Toy Story suite, didn't they?
yes.
Okay. Yes. Toy Story
Oh
suite.
no, it's wait. No, not
Was it
so,
Pixar?
Bagheera. Bagheera.
Big Ear. Okay.
There was a
Maybe I'm
Bagheera.
thinking of a different ship. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't remember Toy Story on this one.
Okay.
Um, so there was the Bagheera 1 bedroom suite. So I visited a bunch of the royal suites,
Hmm.
which again, a lot of Jungle Book and Aladdin on those, plus the Tomorrowland Tower suite,
Right.
which incredible. Still piecing that together because, of course, with those tour, there was a lot of, so I have to piece that together still. But don't worry, we will get up a tour of
Right.
that so that you
Right.
can see the Tomorrowland Tower suite because she was pretty.
Love
She
it. Love
was,
it. Love
yeah.
it. All right, well, that's awesome. Disney Treasure. I mean, obviously, we book Disney cruises. We book a lot of cruises. We book all cruises. Want to start travel? We do. But your Disney Treasure Adventure, or if you're like, you know what, I'm not worried about the treasure. I'm still trying to get to the wonder or the wish or the magic or the fantasy or the dream. We're your people. That's right. Upon Star Jen, Upon Star Dave. You know, we're happy to help. Jen, where can we find you online and all the places?
Yeah, you can find me at Upon a Star Jen or my Instagram at Jen_Novotny. Actually, I need to go make a highlight of my Upon a Star Jen of the treasure. That way you can see like what I posted for stories, and then of course Upon a Star Travel for everything else. And you can see a lot of the great content there with more to come, because I have like over 600 pictures. So we're still kind of going through
only 600 pictures. I actually thought you'd have more than that, honestly.
It might be more. It actually might be more. I'd have to go look at my album. So
I think I have 600 pictures from Jollywood. So yeah, I get that.
Well, I had that from that too. But just
find
the
me on
treasures
Instagram. Find me on Instagram at The Magic on a Dollar. Find me on Facebook at Magic on a Dollar and Disney on a Dollar. And of course, Upon a Star Travel in all the places on TikTok and on Instagram and Facebook. And find us, of course, the MSE Podcast. That is our podcast stuff on all the places as well. And Jen, glad to have you back. I know you're not traveling for like another couple of days, I'm sure. No, your next trip is in January, February. I mean, are you home finally for a little while?
New Year's. I am gone over New Year's, but then after that, I'm not. I'm home for a little bit. So.
Nice. It must have been nice to sleep in your own bed. Yes, you love the treasure and you love Disney World.
I
but
did.
After a while, you're just like, I'm home. I'm in my own house.
There is something about like my bed, my pillow, and I'm like.
Yes, I threw in this morning prior to recording. I threw in our last load of laundry from from getting home Friday night. Just there was laundry everywhere. So it's ridiculous. So anyway, for Jen, I am Dave, and that is the Disney Treasure. And don't forget to thank your Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.